Hey, this is Chef Jon-Paul, and I am thrilled to be here with Candy Lesher, and we're going to be playing with some really cool Viking appliances today, which are just absolutely cutting edge. But you have this fish dish with some of the most exotic, coolest ingredients I've ever seen. Can you walk us through this recipe?
Oh, very easy, yes. Besides, of course, the Viking convection ovens, the key to this is actually just knowing how to put things together. Simple ingredients. Great mahi-mahi, very fish. Nice, gorgeous, but Jon-Paul, we have to make some breadcrumbs because we're going to actually oven fry this. It's going to taste like the crispest, most beautiful fried fish, and it's going to be a lot healthier. So we start.
So we're not frying it in a pan?
We're not going to fry it in a pan. We're going to actually fry it with true convection. Fabulous way of cooking it. I took breadcrumbs, and then I took a little bit of, or actually bread slices, and then some lemon zest and melted butter, and I processed them in my Viking food processor, and until they're nice and crumbly like this. And then I baked them in the true convection oven, and it gives you a really golden, perfect, beautiful breadcrumbs. And then I mixed them with a little bit of shallot and a little bit of Italian parsley. And I've got this, so I've got that ready to go.
Beautiful. Look at that.
And you can, Jon-Paul, you can get that prepared like 2 days ahead if you need to. This is the nice thing. This makes it so much easier to cook a fast meal at home that's healthy.
But you know what? I've had the dried breadcrumbs from the supermarket, and they're always either super salty or just almost have a bitterness with the spice in it. And this is, I mean, I wish you could smell this. It's really pungent, but very fresh. And this is all the butter that went into that.
That's all the butter that went in. It only takes 3 tablespoons, so it's not much. So when you figure it out over how many people you're serving, it's not that much butter going into them, Jon-Paul.
This could probably take care of like 8 to 10 pieces of mahi-mahi.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of times
I'll
I'll take half out and put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it for the next time we cook.
Great tip.
Yay! You betcha. Okay, now I've got my 2 eggs here, and here's the secret ingredient. We've got a little bit of mayonnaise in here, and this helps to give that almost feel of that kind of fried
richness,
feel, that richness. But you only want to do this at the last minute. I've got 5 tablespoons of flour here that I'm putting in with the 2 eggs and the mayonnaise. And Jon-Paul, I also added a couple little special ingredients there.
I noticed this.
Oh yes, smoked Spanish paprika. And I'm using some powdered chipotle chili, but I've used wasabi. Oh, wasabi is excellent in this. Oh.
The dried wasabi powder.
Dried wasabi powder. Fabulous. So this gives you kind of one of those kind of sticky little mixtures, but it's a wonderful mixture for this.
Well, I love paprika is one of my favorite spices, but most people used to see it on a deviled egg where it's just kind of like dirt.
Oh,
and when you cook it, it just has this incredible deep pepper flavor.
Oh, it
but
does.
The smokiness just adds a whole nother aspect to it.
I know, smoked Spanish paprika, love it. Okay, I've got a little bit of flour that I seasoned with a little white pepper here, and I'm just gonna give the fish just a little powdery, so to speak. And this gets kind of messy and gooey with the hands, but that makes it fun, yes. You know you're really cooking when you start to get messy. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of slather this on, just make sure we get a nice little coating of it all the way around. All right, and then I take just a little bit off because, you know, we're trying to keep the weight down and we want it to taste great, but we don't need it to be overdone. And then I just press it right into those breadcrumbs, just like that. Isn't that beautiful?
You know, all the flavors in here, this just seems like such a neat dish to introduce somebody who maybe isn't a big fish fan or maybe kids. And I'm thinking with kids, I mean, they can kind of get gooky and they can get in there, but it's going to be crispy like fried, but it's going to be healthier. It's got great flavors. What a cool way to introduce your kids to fish.
Kids, are you kidding? I created this recipe to introduce my husband to fish.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not kidding about that. He was never a fish fan, but this recipe blows him away every time.
I love it.
All right, now we're going to stick it into the Viking convection oven with true convection. And you know, Jon-Paul, I literally could cook an apple pie in here with the fish. It would brown gorgeously and it would never transfer flavor. There's no transference of flavor with the true convection on the Viking ovens.
Very interesting.
Now, here's a great hot tip. A lot of people want to know how to cook fish. They say, I don't know how long to cook it. The rule of thumb is 12 minutes for an inch, and you go by the thickest part of the fish. Now, if your fish is wrapped in foil or in parchment, you want to add at least 1 to 2 extra minutes to allow the heat to penetrate. And remember, we're cooking this at 400 degrees, so 12 minutes an inch, foil or parchment, you go 14 minutes, and you'll have perfectly cooked fish that has that beautiful moistness, but it's not raw. We're not going for tataki.
So that piece of Mahi, about how long is that going to take? That's about what, about a half an inch?
That one there actually I measured was an inch at the thickest part. So that's going to be about probably about 12 to 13 minutes because there's a lot of coating on that. It's not parchment, but there's a lot of coating in there. So we're going to give it a minute or so just for the heat to penetrate. And in 12 minutes, I'm going to pull out the best fish. You're so going to love this.
I can't wait.
Don't go away. Fine Wine and Design will be right back. Up next, Chef Candy Lesher plates up healthy convection fried fish. For today's recipe, log on to finewineanddesign.com and click on Food and Beverage.